So did the refs bail out the Knicks? Or were the Pistons cheated? We're going to talk about that today. Game 4, pivotal game. They say the teams that win a Game 4 situation when it goes to 3-1, they have a 94% chance of winning the series. I think that we're also going to talk about the Pistons and that one mistake that I really believe they made coming into this series. We got some smoke of the week. We got a Knick of the week. Of course, we got word on the street and much more on This Week Inside the Knicks. New York City salutes to everyone in the building. I am Karan Pierre, the objective fan, straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes, guys. Welcome to This Week Inside the Knicks. And we got a pretty interesting show. Of course, this is the playoff edition, episode 1.2. I'm calling it 1.2 because we didn't record episode 1 last week, but we do have a blog entry for last week's pod, if we were to record it, that you can check out. So that's why it's 1.2. And then we're going to be covering all the topics between April 21st to the 27th, right? Salute to everybody in the building early. Salute to HR the Great. Sorry for the delay in the pod. My laptop was bugging out. I had an update I was trying to install. It didn't work out. It took me an hour to figure it out. So that's the reason why I'm a little late, but it's okay. Everything is good. The stream should go smoothly, and I won't keep you guys too late today. So salute to everybody that's going to be watching this in the future as well. And to all the people as you come in, especially as you come into the building, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Salute to Crimes Dad. I see you in the building early as well. New York City salutes to you. Crimes Dad talking about the refs. No way. I'm going to get to the refs in a second. Trust me, I'm going to get to the refs in a second. Salute to everybody that was on the call-up show on Friday. It was a lit show. Great calls. Game 3 to me was the most pivotal game of the series because I felt like you don't want to go down 2-1 on the road, especially. So I felt like that was a big win. And we talked about whether or not Coach Tibbs did that win save his job. So what we're going to talk about is the entire week, April 21st to the 27th. Like I said, we'll talk about games 3 and 4. And I'll probably highlight the game 2 loss. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Try to think if there's any other announcements I want to make. We did hit one of our parlays, right? Salute to the parlay builders. We swung for the fences. None of our home run, grand slams hit, but we did hit one parlay. And salute to HRM the Great. You also hit a good parlay too. You posted it up in the Discord server. What else I want to touch on? I think I'm gonna jump into research. I'm not gonna keep you guys too much longer. I do appreciate you guys for rocking with me. And so we're going to go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. As you can see, the website link that's on the screen. That's where I'm going to be reading from if you click on. So I'm going to take you to the homepage and show you how you get around. So when you go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com, pow, right? We'll talk about the shop later. That's some of the new mug. We'll talk about that later. All you got to do, you can scroll down, right? Bam. Go to latest news. You'll see it right here. 2025 playoffs, episode 1.2. So if you want to see the sources that I'm going to be reading from, you could go here, or you could click on, I got a new menu here. You click on 2025 playoffs. You'll see episode 1.2. Either way, go to episode 1.2. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And this will have all the news. And anything we missed, you can check it out. Some interesting stuff. A lot of news this week. Usually in the playoffs, there is a lot of news. I'm going to touch on some of the special highlights. Unfortunately, in the Knick community, we lost one of our greats, and I want to give a RIP to the great Dick Barnett. Knicks legend. I have I had a personal encounter with Dick Barnett. He was actually my professor at St. John's University. So it's interesting to see, the history of what he was and what in terms of the Knick legacy at the time. While I was in class, I didn't even appreciate it. I wish I could have went back in time and would have been more, trying to connect. At that time where my mind frame was in college, I was just trying to get out of there. So I didn't really take advantage of connecting with the great Dick Barnett, but he was a legend. I mean, I have an article talking about his life on the blog. You can also check that out if you would like to. But definitely was an instrumental figure in those two Knicks championships. Oh, and also in St. John's University, I want to say one of my experiences with him in class was his vocabulary was very, very, very like high level stuff, right? And I felt like that's where Walt Clyde kind of got some of his mannerisms from, because every time he would talk, you would need a dictionary to understand at least 2 words in a sentence. Like, he was very, very well spoken. That's one of the vivid memories I remember. And we did not talk about no basketball. So, like, most of the students, if you didn't care about the Knicks, because of course he's an older, player from back in the day, so people didn't even know that he was played in the Knicks. I'm pretty sure most people didn't know that. Okay, and so we never talked about basketball ever. And I wish I would have, if I could just go back, I wish I could have did it. But at that point where I was in college, I really wasn't like trying to do all the extra stuff. I was just trying to get my degree and get up out of there, which was a mistake. But yeah, that's my fond memory of Dick Barnett just in college. But legendary player, was around for the 2 championship teams, 88 years old, long life, successful. And yeah, he was a great player and definitely a legend, and he will be missed. So we got to start the podcast giving up to Dick Barnett. And like I said, he was my professor at St. John's University. Though I didn't talk, not one time did we talk about the Knicks. You would think I would be talking about the Knicks every day. No, we didn't. And because he was a very serious dude too. So there was no real opportunity to talk sports like that, And there was a lot of kids in the class. College, you be having classrooms with like 50 people, in the class. So it was crazy. It was crazy. But RIP though. Had to start there, unfortunately, we lost a great one. I'm going to keep moving. I got some more special highlights, more positive stuff. Also, I got to give a big time salute to the Big Bodega, because he actually is going to be a part of some video footage from the NBA highlighting the first African-American players that played in the NBA, right? And of course, if you're a Knicks fan, you would know that we had the first African-American player in the NBA. This is not the article I want to go with, but Karl-Anthony Towns, right? So New York Knicks forward Karl-Anthony Towns, he reflects on Clifton, Sweetwater Clifton, right? And throughout the upcoming 2025-26 season, and the NBA will honor their legacy. All 3 of these guys, right? So Chuck Cooper, Kevin Lloyd, right? Their kids will be in attendance as well. So salute to Karl-Anthony Towns for getting that special highlights. Listen, man, when I start the pod, we always got to have some good news, right? So I want to salute to Karl-Anthony Towns to getting, partaking in that, because sometimes younger players, they don't know, right? Or we get on younger players from not knowing their history, right? And not caring about the guys from yesteryear. But hey, I salute to these brothers coming together. Who else is a part of it? I think Jalen Brown and Steph Curry, right? So they're going to be spearheading this video production. All right. So I got some more. We're going to start off light, starting off the pod light like we always do. Of course, we got to give a big time tribute to Jalen Brunson. He was the clutch player of the year during this week. And Jalen Brunson says, it means a lot to us. It is a credit to close games, winning the close games. My teammates and coaches having my back. And, I'm going to talk about game 4 in a second in the Pistons series. But one of the keys to victory was Jalen Brunson getting in his bag. And the Pistons also, I had here, still learning. So another key to victory was the Pistons still learning, young, and not having the experience. So when you got a guy like this, a bona fide X factor, Jalen Brunson on your team, in a series like this, there's no way you don't win the series. There's no way you don't win the series. So I got to give a big time salute to Jalen Brunson. By the way, if you just joined the show, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, right? And don't forget the bell button too, so you get all the notifications, because some of you guys complain you don't get the notifications. Like the video, some more cool Knicks fans could chime in and catch what we're doing, right? And if you are a subscriber, consider joining the channel, all right? And let me say what's up to some of the people in the building. Oh, the class that he taught, JJP NYC, it was like business management or some sort of business solutions or something like that. It was a business something with business. It was and yo, JJP, it was straight like textbook, bro. Like like Dick Barnett was like by the book with it. Like he never really like he was very, I would say, focused on terminology, right? Business terminology and you know, business concepts. So that's what the class was about, JJP. Make sure I'm great. He got a documentary, right? Peter Vesey was talking about him last night on X. I think so. I didn't see the documentary. Crimes Down. J-Tap was a good host. Yes, J-Tap, he definitely did a great job coming out. I mean, to be honest though, Crimes that he did have moments like if you, to all the members, you saw the little clip I put out. He had some moments where he had to disappear. Like 3 times he disappeared on us. Yeah, he disappeared on us. Let's see. Hart was fouled before it got to Hardaway. We're going to get to the fouls. By the way, guys, if you just joined too, I'm going to put some of the topics up there. So these are the topics we're going to be talking about. Did the refs bail out the Knicks? I'm going to talk about game 4, even though I lost my note. I lost one of my notes. It's good. Sometimes you got to keep this to memory, and I still got my other notes. So we're going to get into the game 4 review, right? Pistons, the one mistake they made. That was actually going to be the flagship topic, but then my executive producer said that was weak, so we wind up going with the refs. Okay, smoke of the week and more. So just so you guys know, let me read a couple more chats before I continue. Crimes Dad say he was rubbing his mug. By the way, I'm going to show you guys how you guys could get a mug. And Crimes Dad, salute to him. He did send us a picture of his mug. I got a couple of more pictures. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, and HR McGrady, I know he got some stuff coming too. He actually won the giveaway, the Big Bodega Cat giveaway, and then he ordered some mugs as well. So salute to everybody who ordered from the store. I do appreciate everyone that ordered from the store. JJP says them Piston folks are still crying. Yeah, it's over, guys. But you know what? The series was over before it started. And salute to you guys. If you was on, I think that was an after midnight stream when I broke down the playoffs and I said why the Knicks were going to pretty much beat them emphatically. And my objective take was 5 games, but I really wanted to say 4 games. But my official position was Knicks in 5, right? Because I figured when I was initially doing the prediction, I thought game 4 would be the toughest game. I thought we win the first 3 games easy, and I thought that they might could get game 4. As you can see, game 4 was tough last night too, but game 3 or game 2, I kind of took the cake because Detroit came out and swung. To me, game 2 probably was the hardest game because we lost, right? But games 3 and games 4 both were hard, you know. So yeah, so that's my take on that. Let me see. Oh, some more news, some more special highlights. I'm gonna run through these a little quicker because I want to get to the game stuff. This Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I don't understand why the Philadelphia 76ers was chosen, but we got some preseason games in Abu Dhabi next year. Salute to the Knicks for making it, you know, international Knicks. Broadway goes international. So, yeah, we will be featured in Abu Dhabi preseason next year. Well, next season, actually, which is probably in, 4 or 5 months. So, yeah, salute to everybody on the team, you know, and for us, getting our weight up, getting our name up, being considered out there. I don't know why they chose Philadelphia 76ers. Maybe because they knew that we would probably watch them and they wanted to give us an easy win. Let me move forward. Let me see, is there any other? Okay, I talked about Brunson. Okay, cool. I do want to give Coach Tibbs a kind of a weird, let me see if I got it right here. Okay. Am I logged in? Am I logged in? Okay. Well, they came out with the awards, and I don't have my login here for the Athletic, but It's fine. I just tell you what it was. So Coach Tibbs did not finish as a finalist, or he did not receive the most votes for the worst coach. So I want to give a salute to Coach Tibbs for not being voted as one of the worst coaches. And this, of course, was the players poll, the anonymous players poll that they had up there, which I like the anonymous players poll, because the fact that it's anonymous, you get their real sentiments, right? And things of that nature. So, all right. So I'm going to jump into some Game 4 stuff. I'm going to start off with some news, mostly news, because like I said, I lost my notes, but there are a couple of things I do want to touch on about this game. Let me see where I want to start at. So Brunson, okay, so you know what? Let's start with the end in mind. So Jalen Brunson, we know he got hurt late third quarter, right? Crazy stuff. And then he came back early in the fourth, and it looked like nothing ever happened. So salute to the captain, right? For handling his business, right? And my smoke of the week is going to have a lot of stuff in it, but it's gonna touch on the Knicks' toughness. But Jalen Brunson, I mean, he is continuously to show why he's the most deserving captain, right? Being able to rewrap the ankle. I think they also said he might have changed his shoes and come right back on the floor. I mean, that was a moment. Now, by the way, you guys in the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, being that we talk about Game 4, right? And no worries, I'll tell you, if you like to know how you could get access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, I will let you guys know. But everybody who was in there watching this game, right? Because I went back and I looked at the chats, because I was kind of on the move on the road. So I was tapping in, and, that's why I couldn't do the live play-by-play. But you guys were freaking out. And I want to give a bit. Is my man? Yeah, Knicks will be champs. I see you in the building. Knicks will be champs 25-26 was the only objective voice in the chat. Salute to Knicks will be champs 25-26. He said, relax, guys. The game is not over. Everybody was like, oh, my God, what are we going to do? Brunson got hurt. I saw all you guys freaking out. And I see you in the building, J-Tap. Definitely RIP to the legend. J-Tap, you were one of the main people freaking out in the chat. But, yeah, salute to you, J-Tap. I see you in the building early, right? So let me get these topics off the screen. So, yeah, Jalen Brunson having a Willis Reed-like moment, and definitely major stuff there. Let me see what else I want to get to. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the refs. I'm going to save the referee with Tim Hardaway. I'm going to save that for Flagship. I'm going to touch on some other things in this game that I felt was kind of monumental, right? Let me see. I got, of course, Karl-Anthony Towns. We got to give him the big time salute. Karl-Anthony Towns, the big bodega. He made two, crazy shots. The one fadeaway shot, he says that he actually was working with Kyrie Irving on that. Incredible. He's the best shooting big man in NBA history, all right? Especially if we're talking about three-point shooting and perimeter shooting, right? Not just overall field goal percentage. On the perimeter, anything outside, I think Cat has shown why he's the best all times. And I don't think it's a debate at this point in time, but man, that three, and then the step back three from 30 feet out. Incredible stuff. I was going crazy when I saw it, when I initially saw it. Cause like I said, I was outside. So good thing I was pulled over, right? I literally was going crazy, and it was a big moment. It was a big moment. But Towns, and I got another interesting article a little bit later talking about Towns, but Towns definitely showed out to me. Another thing too about this game, Mitchell Robinson's health, right? A lot of people, I'm not sure if you guys noticed or listened to the injury report. Salute to everybody if you watch MSG, pregame, because MSG pregame, they were breaking this stuff down, and they mentioned Mitchell Robinson's health. I don't think NBC did. I don't know. I didn't watch it. Of course, I don't watch NBC or none of the other pre-games. I will always go to MSG to watch the pre-game. So if you didn't know that, you could, right before the game, you could go to MSG, watch the pre-game, and then turn to NBC or ABC, whatever channel they're on. So I noticed that Mitch wasn't performing well because he wasn't right. His health wasn't right. I think that's why Mitch wasn't his normal self. dominant in the paint. But it's okay. We got the win. I don't care. As long as we get the win, I don't care, right? I don't care who scores what. If you're new to the channel, I am the objective Knicks fan. I'm not just saying that because that's my name and it sounds cool. I'm literally the objective Knicks fan. I am loyal to the hat. The logo's on the hat. I'm not a player guy. You know, I don't dislike anybody, right? I want everybody to succeed. I am the objective Knicks fan. Now, if it's not going well, salute to my anti-Tibbs Hive people. Sometimes I join the Hive that night if Tibbs does something that I don't like. But games 3 and game 4, you know, I had to go against the anti-Coach Tibbs Hive because Coach Tibbs shown that he can make adjustments. Right? So I'm the objective Knicks fan. That's why people come here. They know I'm going to give it to them straight. No, you know, no capping, none of that. Let me see. And I talked about Towns and Kyrie, right? So yeah, this article here is talking about the Kyrie Irving connection. Let me see. Of course, no Stewart. Stewart didn't play this game. But you know what? To me, the most impressive point about this game, besides the down the stretch stuff, was the defense on Cade Cunningham. The defense on Cade Cunningham, to me, fantastic. Fantastic. And they're really living up to the Wingstop name. They did put the crunch time clamps on the Pistons' Cade Cunningham, but before we even got to, and I still got some notes. This is actually the box score from the games. Not sure if you guys can see it, but I try to print out the box score. I do quarter by quarter, right? If I don't, you know, sometimes I do that just so I can look at the numbers. I want to see numbers. But Cade Cunningham in the first half, I believe he had only, 6-7 points. Let me see. He went 2 of 6 in the second quarter. And in the first quarter, Cade Cunningham went 1 of 3. So Cade Cunningham, I believe that's 6 points. Yeah, I don't think he had any free throws either. So they held Cade Cunningham to 6 points. And I know Cade finished with 20-something. I think he finished with 25. So he had 6 points in the first quarter. Mostly OGA had the assignment in the first quarter. I mean, the first half was a lot more OG. Mikal did get some opportunities, but Mikal's opportunities came more in the second half. And I felt like that Coach Tibbs adjustment, we're not going to just give him one look. We're going to give him 2 looks with Wingstop. We're going to give them, each of those guys going to get opportunities to guard him. We can start OG on them, which they do mostly. And then Mikal will get his licks in too. And I honestly think that if you took away the third quarter from Cade, which the third quarter was an amazing quarter. I mean, he had 12, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in the third quarter. If you take away that quarter, Cade would essentially be a non-factor. And then when you look at Cade Cunningham's 7 turnovers, 7 TOs. And I think he was one of the league leaders, or I think he led the league in turnovers, or he was like up there if he didn't lead the league. I think he averaged 4.9 turnovers in the regular season. So he turns over the ball a lot. And I think that's one area of his game that he's going to have to expand on. But to all the guys that, like I said, that watched the prediction show, you know I said that the Knicks defense, their improving defense, will be on display in this series. And it has. I mean, the Knicks defense was incredible. And this game, especially the 3-point defense, 24%, was amazing, right? So honestly, this to me is the best defensive performance from the Knicks out of all the games because they blitzed Cade and they managed to stop them from 3-point shooting. When you look at game 1, right? They blitzed Cade, but everybody else was getting their shots off, right? Game 2 was a game that I don't think they shot well in game 2. Hold on, let's pull it up. I don't think the Pistons shot well from 3 in game 2, right? That's why I stay in research mode. to fact check myself. Yep. So Pistons shot 22% in game 2, right? And Cade went off. This was the one game we didn't blitz Cade. So that's why I feel like when you look at game 4, it was the best. It was the best defensive, performance out of the whole playoffs. They did a phenomenal job on Cade Cunningham. So this game to me, like I said, had a lot of elements to it. And I thought the defense by Wingstop was incredible. And they look like all NBA defensive wings, right? That's what they look like to me. Let me see. Make sure I cut everything. I'm moving a little fast. I am talking about game 4. Let me see if there's anything else from game 4 I would like to mention. Oh, yes. I got hold on. Let me go back to the box score. Tobias Harris. Salute to my man, Keith. Keith, if you in the building, salute to you, right? So definitely salute to Keith. We said on the call-up show that we want Tobias Harris to score 25 points, 24 points, right? Because we know that Tobias Harris is not going to beat you. He is not going to beat you, okay? And so that little stretch he had in the third quarter, second to third quarter, Discord server, you guys, salute to my Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, HRM the Great, I see you in the building, right? You were one of the guys that were freaking out. JJP NYC, I see you. Guys were freaking out. Oh my God, what's going to happen, right? So I'm like, wait a minute, it's Tobias Harris, it's not Cade. We're good. As long as we can hold Cade in check, we good. I knew Cade was going to come out in the third quarter trying to fire off at all cylinders, but the defense was incredible. Incredible. Also, I love the Schroeder defense too. Schroeder was in a thorn in our side in games 2 and 3. Schroeder in game 4, reluctant, 6 points, right? Was an antagonizer on Brunson. That was his job this game. And then Beasley found his shot somewhat, but he still was struggling in the first half. It wasn't until the second half where he started knocking down some threes. He hit the 3 threes in the second half. But overall, the Knicks were able to take the other Pistons out of the game and blitz Cade, right? And of course, Cade, Tim Hardaway Jr. also hit some threes. The 3-point defense too, another thing too, I forgot with the 3-point defense. The Pistons in the first half, I think they missed how many threes in the first half? So they missed, I know they missed in the first quarter, they missed like 6 threes I got here, right? In the second quarter, they went 1 from 11 from downtown. So in the first half, they were 1 for 17 from 3. No, I'm sorry. Check that. They were 2 of 16 from 3 in the first half. 3-point defense, incredible. And remember, this is while blitzing Cade, right? This is while blitzing Cade. I mean, the defense is incredible. And also, Mitch only played 9 minutes. And I think in the second half, I got it right here, Mitch only played, out of those 9 minutes, Mitch only played 1 minute in the second half. So that's 8 minutes of Mitch in the first half. And I think that's part of the reason why the 3-point defense was played well, performed well in the first half. Even though Mitch wasn't his normal self, he's still a threat when he's on the floor. He still does a lot while he's on the floor, right? Defensively, that don't show up in the stat sheet, right? But he wasn't his normal monster, I'm going to get every rebound, because he was under the weather. Let me see you guys talking about in the chat before I move on. Like I said, salute to everybody that's a member and in the Discord server. Let me see, HR the Great. Our offense was ridiculous during the JB injury. Oh my God. Yo, HR the Great. Ooh, it was tough. It was tough. It was tough, man, because Campaign came in the game. Let me see what he did in the third. So when Campaign came in the game, right, he played 2 minutes and 52 seconds, the time where Brunson got hurt. He was 0-1 from the field. Let me see. He had 1 assist and he had 1 turnover. That's what Campaign did in the third quarter. And also, they had 3 assists for the quarter. If I'm reading this right. Yep, 3 assists for the quarter. They did get 3 steals though. The Knicks, in terms of turning over Detroit, that's another thing with the defense too. I forgot to get to because my notes, I don't know where they are, but I'm just going off pure memory. But turning over Detroit Pistons, once again, one of the keys to, listen, this is the 10 keys I came up with, okay? I did this on the prediction show. You see that? On the prediction show, I talked about the Pistons being overly aggressive, right? But it's not about the Pistons being overly aggressive. I told you got to get Jalen Duran in foul trouble, right? And in this game, shockingly, Jalen Duran only had 3 fouls and Cade only had 2 fouls. But those 2 guys usually are the culprits you want in foul trouble because when Duran has 4 more fouls, they have a losing record, right? We talked about the health, the fact that we got all our guys there. They're ready to rock and roll. We talked about the improved defensive intensity, and you've seen nothing but defense from the Knicks. But the turnovers, I said the Pistons are turnover prone, right? And the good thing about turnovers, you stagnate their offense because usually the Knicks do a great job of getting points off turnovers too. That's something that the Pistons love to do. But let's see. So when we're looking at points conceded off turnovers, the Knicks got 20 points off 19 Pistons turnovers, right? That helped with the offense that was struggling at times, for sure. I mean, it was a struggle. Like if you go back to the box score, besides Brunson and Towns, so like when Brunson went out the game, right, you see that no one else was giving you offense. That's why Towns had to come back in the third quarter, right? Had to cut his rest short. But 3 of 12 Mikal Bridges, 3 of 13 OG Anunoby. Nobody had it going. Josh Hart only took 9 shots. And the bench, what bench? We have 5 points from the bench. Now, I don't really care about the bench production, and I do want to talk about that in a second. But yeah, that's what it was. Let me see a couple of more chats before I continue. Kolek would get torched. Hey, anybody talking about rookies? No. I wanted DeLon Wright to come in. I wanted DeLon Wright to come in because he got the experience. Kolek is a rookie. You know what I'm saying? And also salute to Yuri. I see you in the building, Yuri. Oh, and by the way, Keith, I see you in the chat too. Let Tobias cook. Yep, me and Keith, man. Great call-up show. Guys, you got to call up to the call-up show too. We be having some great conversation. That's Friday nights at 10:45. I'm going to continue some more playoff stuff I want to get into. But before I get to the playoff stuff, I do want to take a brief intermission to show you guys the merch. Now, listen, man, you guys have been supporting with the merch. I do appreciate everybody who has made a purchase on the shop. We do got the merchandise shop. We got the latest addition to the merchandise shop, which is the Bodega Cat line, right? Which is fire. Everybody loves the mugs. Everybody loves the mugs. Go listen, man. All you got to do is go to shop.theobjectiveknicksfan.com. You see the captain and you see Cap balling. So, go get you some Captain 11 inspired merch, right? For the captain. Let me show you the captain. This is the Captain 11, right? And go get you the Bodega Cat. Okay, the Bodega Cat is what I had on the screen right now. You know what I'm saying? Go get you a mug, man. Go get you a mug. It's nice. Crime's dad loves his mug. He always talks about it on every show. And look, I even came out with it this week inside the NYK mug, man. So listen, man, if you support the show and, you want to take advantage of getting some cool merch, we definitely got some stuff for you on shop.theobjectiveknicksfan.com or shop.thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. It doesn't matter. Each website will take you to the same place. And yeah, we got the tees, right? I mean, it's some good stuff on there. So I'm going to move forward. I'm going to talk about some more playoff stuff. I'm trying to think anything else from game 4 I wanted to talk about. I had my notes. I was going to break down the game a little bit more, but I don't know where my notes are. Can't find it nowhere. It's all right. I think we hit it on the nail. I did touch on all the major, newsworthy stuff. for game 4. I don't think there's anything. Oh, besides, of course, the refs. We're going to get to the refs. By the way, if you just joined, this is This Week Inside the Knicks, episode 1.2 of the playoffs 2025. And we talk about everything between the 21st and the 27th, okay? So these are some of the topics that we're going to be talking about today. And we will get to the refs. I didn't get to that yet. If you're here for that, we just talked about game 4. And I want to talk about the Pistons' mistake. And we're going to get into definitely some smoke of the week stuff. Hey, it's going down for sure. So I got some playoff stuff I wanted to touch on, like that's kind of related to game 4 and game 3. You know what? I'm going to start off with game 3. There's a point in game 3 I want to talk about. Let's see. So how many of you guys remember game 3? The fans coming out in Detroit, not knowing what to do. They hadn't been here in like 8 years, right? They hadn't been to the playoffs. So they trying to figure out, what do we do in the playoffs? So the fans thought it was a great idea to attack Jalen Brunson with the chants. F you Brunson, right? Throughout the game. And Bridges said it's nothing. Words can't hurt him. You know, Brunson is, I can't remember his exact quote. I do got it somewhere, but Brunson was like, this is nothing. You know, like, it is what it is. In fact, it helps him get focused. So it's crazy how the fan base don't even realize that they're leading themselves to their own demise by waking up the monster, Captain 11, and getting him going, right? They didn't even realize that that's what they were doing. And Brunson, he finished game 3 with 30 points. You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to have Brunson's stats up there because I just wanted to show Detroit this is the last 5 games for JB, right? I mean, incredible stuff. All 30 balls in the playoffs. I think he averages, I think his career average in the playoffs is 30. With the Knicks. So yeah, JB with the Knicks, not his whole career, not Dallas, but just with the Knicks, his career, yeah, it's 30.7. You see that right there? So all they did was help Jalen Brunson do what he was supposed to do, which was get to the 30 ball. That's all JB needed, right? And he's averaging 33 in this playoffs against the Pistons. The brother is phenomenal, okay? He's phenomenal. And that's captain. You know, that's captain. I mean, elevating his game. I mean, you go from 26 to 33 points, 26 in the regular season to 33 points. So I thought that was funny that the Detroit Pistons, not knowing what to do, they will choose to ignite the captain and get him going. I just think that that's just crazy. And it's proof that they don't know what they don't know. And that's why anybody who picked Detroit or even thought that this series would be a tough series, like, yeah, each game is tough. I mean, the playoffs is tough, period. But I'm talking about, when we say tough, we talking about you going to 7 games to decide the series. This series was never going to 7 games. Whoever picked this series going to 7 games, I don't know what was going on in your mind, right? We don't guarantee victories, but game 5, this series is over. I don't see it going beyond. Now you got to go back to Madison Square Garden down 3-1, 93% chance that Knicks will win. There's nothing these guys are going to be able to do about it. Let me see. So I talked about the game. So I talked about the F Brunson chance. Crazy stuff. Stuff that doesn't make any sense. Let me see. I got some more playoff stuff here. There's a lot of, guys, there's a lot of news for the playoffs. But I do want to talk about this. And I'm gonna give a big time salute to Coach Tibbs and salute the Daily Knicks. They got everything they traded for in terms of getting Cat, and it changed everything. And you know what's funny too? Like, as I get into this story, right? Because I keep track of all the news stories, right? It's like the range of the news stories, how it pivots from wins to losses, is crazy. Like, if you look at game 1, the Knicks is great. You look after the game 2 loss, oh, the Knicks is bad and they got to do this and it's all negative. You look at games 3 and 4, yes, the Knicks are back. And it's like this roller coaster ride of winning and losing. That's why I hope the Knicks win game 5, because I don't want to see the news after if we were to lose that game. And I don't think we're going to lose that game. But Karl-Anthony Towns, 31 points, right? This was game 3. Put on a scoring clinic, balling. The 3 was falling. I mean, the big bodega was on fire. The man was clutch. So the Knicks are finally getting the guy they traded for, right? This is what we wanted, the best shooting big man in basketball history, and also 5-out basketball, and you're starting to see the fruits of it. Now, Coach Tibbs, and I think I have another article that I'm gonna pivot to right quick, being that we on it. I'm sorry, I didn't even go back to the shop. I'm gonna go to this other article. This is the article I really wanted to talk about, right? Because Cat balling has a lot to do with Coach Tibbs, the guy who a lot of you guys don't like, right? The guy who a lot of you guys want to see gone. Tom Thibodeau's future is riding on his ability to do what no other coach could, right? And what they're talking about is bringing the most out of Cat. He must help Karl-Anthony Towns break that mental block down, right? Towns is currently in the midst of his 5th postseason appearance. He's accumulated, this is his postseason average, 18.7 points, 10 rebounds, right? 2.4 assists. He's shooting 1.5 3-point field goals made, right? They're not bad numbers, but they're not comparable to his career numbers. You see the difference? He goes from 18.7 to 23 points for his career. So huge drop off. Huge drop off. So what Daily Nixon is talking about in this article is that Coach Tibbs, can he bring out of Karl-Anthony Towns what we're seeing now, which is somebody that actually is going to rise to the occasion and take his game to a whole nother level. And that's what he's at. That's what you're getting right now with Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm going to pull up his basketball reference so we can actually look at some of the numbers here. So, I mean, you look at his last 5 games, 27, 31. Of course, the 10 points is the only blemish, really. And then the 23 and 11 was not bad in the winning effort. But Karl-Anthony Towns right now, his career playoff numbers is up. Career highs right now, 22. And only 8.5 rebounds. Very physical series, but I'm taking the 22 points. Right, I'm taking the 1.5 blocks. He's stepping up his defense, right? Of course, very efficient, 50% from 3, 53% from the field. Coach Tibbs is a master at bringing the best out of his guys, right? So, yeah, Coach Tibbs, say what you want, he maximizes guys' potential. He does. He does. You've seen it with Randall. Right? Now you're seeing it again with Towns. Even earlier, he had some good years under Coach Tibbs, right? Early in his career. So Coach Tibbs is doing the job. And I think you guys need to relax. And honestly, because we're up in the series and we're about to win the series, right? I think you guys need to fall back on bashing Coach Tibbs. Salute to Shandice, because she always says, yo, why are your guests so hard on Coach Tibbs? Why are your guests so hard on Coach Tibbs? I don't understand it. And I said, because they don't, well, to me, out of all of the anti-Coach Tibbs people, whether you're in the hive or not, or you just feel like Coach Tibbs is just not that guy, the only one to me that has a real compelling argument is Fritz. Because Fritz says that he doesn't think, he says, Fritz gives Coach Tibbs the praise that he deserves. He says he's a good coach, right? He'll get you to the second round, maybe a conference finals, but he feels that Tibbs won't get you to a championship. And I could respect that. I disagree. I don't agree with it, but at least he's not like diminishing Coach Tibbs and saying Coach Tibbs is not a good coach, right? I think the people who are saying that and are like saying Coach Tibbs doesn't make adjustments, like Trevor. Where were you, Trevor, on Friday? We were definitely waiting for you to come up there, Trevor. But Trevor, he avoided the smoke because I was going to just point out like 20 adjustments that Coach Tibbs made in this series alone, right? Now, of course, this is not a championship, But at the end of the day, you're supposed to take care of the Detroit Pistons. Gentleman sweep is what we predicted, and I think that's what we're going to get. But Coach Tibbs deserves, the praise for helping unlock Towns and get this most out of Towns, something that no other coach could do. Not Finch and not none of the other coaches he had. I can't remember the names of these guys. Bottom line is, Coach Thibodeau doing a fantastic job. I'm going to jump into Flagship in a second. If you just joined, we're talking about these topics. And like J-Tap said, let's get the likes up and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm going to read some of your chats. Crimes Dad said, if Tibbs only plays 6, how can he not maximize? Well, I mean, we've seen him play very few guys in the past, and they're not putting up 23. Hold on. We've seen him play guys a lot in the past. And Isaiah Hartenstein or whoever it is, none of those guys in the playoffs, not even Julius Randle, but Julius Randle, to be fair, he was hurt in the playoffs. And the first time he played in the playoffs, that was his first playoff. But, we haven't seen anybody else besides Brunson get 22 points on 50% shooting from downtown and 53% from 3. I'm sorry, Crimes Dad. I know you don't like Tibbs. But I had to show that, part of the reason why Karl-Anthony Towns is showing success in this playoffs is because of Coach Tibbs, because Towns has not had this level of success under any other coach. Okay? Right? Now the closest thing you got here was this year. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I hate when Basketball Reference does the wacky stuff. But the year that's in orange right there, where he averaged 21.8 points, but I think they lost in the first round of this series. Yeah, they did. Yeah, 6 games. This was in 2022. This was a pretty solid year, too. I remember this year from Towns. But what he's doing is going to trump 2022 because he's going to go further than 2022. This is Coach Tibbs. Let me see what else you guys talking about. AP6's YouTube couldn't say anything about JB today. Why are we talking about the Sixers, though? H on the Grape. Randall has Cat both underperforming in postseasons years past. Yeah, but we're talking about this year. So this year, all right, so I'm going to talk about Randall real quick, Crimes Dad, because you're my guy. Randall was hurt in the playoffs against Miami and against Cleveland, right? He had ankle surgery after the playoff. I'm not trying to make an excuse for the brother. I'm just saying, the brother wasn't 100%. And then he didn't play last year's playoffs. And then the first playoffs was his first playoff. Usually your first playoff is not going to be strong, okay? It's not going to be strong. However, when you fast forward to what Cat's doing this year in the postseason, phenomenal. And I think it's going to continue because no one in the Eastern Conference, no one in the league, screw it. Where's Coach at? No one in the league can guard Karl-Anthony Towns. So these numbers are going to continue. And now the Knicks have figured out another thing about games 3 and 4. We're going to start giving Towns. Towns is getting 5 shots within the first 5 minutes of the game. Towns is getting buckets, right? Or opportunities to get buckets. That is the adjustment from Tibbs, right? That's why Towns is in the game because they start with him, right? They start with Towns and then Brunson closes it out. Oh, as soon as I say coach, man, salute the coach, man. Knicks State Madness Discord server, man. Coach, I know you riding with me on this one, coach. I know you riding with me on this one. Tibbs is getting the most out of Towns. Let me see. All my anti-Tibbs high people. Don't worry, I'm about to get over Coach Tibbs right now. I just want to see some of your chats, man. Salute to everybody. I do appreciate you guys for rocking. And like I said, if you just joined, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. This is This Week Inside the Knicks, episode 1.2 of the playoffs, right between April 25th, 21st to the 27th. Those are the topics you're talking about. I'm going to move a little faster, and then I'm going to get into the flagship topic. Let me see. You know what? We could talk about this. We could talk about bench depth, right? Because since I'm kind of talking about Tibbs, we could talk about the bench depth. Now, I'm going to say this off rip, y'all. I don't give a damn about bench depth. I really don't. The Lakers didn't even play their bench in the second half yesterday, right? And I'm mad at the Lakers. The Lakers messed up my parlay. I will never put the Lakers, the Bucks, and the Celtics hit. The Celtics hit. But I would never put the Lakers and the Bucks in the parlay ever again. It would never happen. Never happen again in life. But the Knicks, they lack the depths. It could become an issue against the Pistons. Of course, this article is old, but let's replace Pistons with playoffs. The Knicks' depth could become an issue in the playoffs. Boston's only playing 8 guys. That's it. They're not even playing. The Knicks are playing 9 guys. Boston's not even playing. I don't think Sherman played the last game, though. But outside of the last game, no, Sherman actually did play 1 minute. Sherman did get 1 minute. Damn, I forgot about that. But Boston's only playing 8 guys. This is the playoffs. We don't give a damn about bench depth. We don't. At this point in time, you want the bench to give you, if Deuce can give you 19 minutes, that's a blessing. If Mitch can give you 15 to 20 minutes, that's a blessing. And I think Mitch can give you 20 minutes. I think that you'll see more of Mitch in game 5. I think the reason why he only got the 9 minutes is, like I said earlier, he was under the weather. Outside of those 2 guys, if he's on fire, you play him. If not, he only getting 7 minutes. That's all you need. And Sherman, honestly, I'm cool with 8 men in the playoffs. I would put, these are my 8th mans right here. Campaign, Deuce, and Mitch. That's it. You don't need nothing else. In the postseason, this is what I want to see. 42 minutes, 39 minutes, 40 minutes. The Knicks are built for it. Jalen Brunson said, hey, I'm glad I got a coach that played me all that time. So now I can handle it in the postseason. And of course, he was joking. It was kind of a sly reference. But I don't want to hear nobody talk about bench depth. Bench depth don't matter in the postseason because you're only playing 8 guys. All the quality teams are not playing everybody, right? They're not playing everybody. No, they're tightening their rotation. Now, Cleveland, I haven't watched not one Cleveland game, nor have I watched OKC because I feel like the Heat, and I felt like who's OKC playing? Memphis with an injured Ja. Like, come on, that's a walk in the park. You're not going to learn nothing about a team. Now, the next round, because it's going to probably more than likely be the Pacers. They are 3-1. Now we're going to see how Cleveland deals with a team that's going to be more formidable, right? Same thing with OKC. They got either, who they got? The Clippers or Denver. So then we're going to see how formidable OKC is going to do against a more prepared opponent, more polished opponent, right? So I don't give a damn about no bench depth. So anybody talking about bench depth, it's the postseason, y'all. Nobody cares about the bench. Nobody cares about the bench. All right. Let's see. A couple of more topics I want to get into. I'm not going to talk about the 3 keys. Let's see, 19. Okay, this is definitely a topic I want to talk about. Now, let me take the topics off. Now, look, guys. Knicks Jalen Brunson takes accountability for the widespread criticism. And the widespread criticism after game 2 was that he has to pass the ball. Brunson, he has to pass the ball. Hold on, let me get back to Brunson on Basketball Reference. All right. Brunson has to pass the ball. That's what they said, right? This is Brunson's last 4 playoff games. 11 assists, 9 assists, 7 assists, 8 assists. Forget about the 11 and 9. Forget about the 11 and 9. Look at the 7 and 8. This is game 2. Game 2, Jalen Brunson had 7 assists. Cade Cunningham, who won the game, had 34 and 3 assists. Nobody said that Cade Cunningham needs to get guys more involved. You know why? Because they won the game. Jalen Brunson was trying to get us a win. I didn't give a damn about Brunson having to pass the goddamn ball. Why am I going to pass the ball to a bunch of dudes that can't score, right? Let's go to game 2. Now, could we have gotten Cat more involved? Oh, yeah. Oh, all right. That's fair. I think Cat should have got more opportunities. But Cat's usage rate was the same as in game 1. It was very similar to as it was in game 1, as it was in game 2. Because in game 1, he only got 4 more shots than he got in game 2, right? Cat was getting double teamed a lot. He was passing the ball. So the adjustment for Cat is I got to be more aggressive because think about it, right? Cat got the similar uses that he got in game 1, but he only had 0 assists. And we know he was being double teamed in game 2. And he was dishing the ball. Why does he have 0 assists? Because nobody was hitting shots. Mikal Bridges was the only other dude that did something. 8 of 18, 19 points. But OG Anunoby, 4-10 from the field. Right? Josh Hart, Mr. Reluctant to shoot. He only took 6 shots. If you got a starter that's only taking 6 shots, that's a problem. And Josh Hart, yes, he got the 5 assists, but he's reluctant to shoot at the time. Now, I think with game 4, Josh Hart played way better. Right? I'm talking about game 2 right now. And Deuce McBride is the only player on the bench to score. He had 8 points. Why am I playing the bench? Landry Shamet's giving me nothing in the playoffs. Why am I concerned about the bench? Campaign had 1 good game in the playoffs. See, Mitch, 20 minutes. This is what I expect to see from Mitch. 20 minutes, 7 rebounds, an assist, right? No blocks, but he was an intimidator. And we know what Mitch was doing in this game. But at the same time, y'all, when we say Brunson had to pass the ball, Brunson did pass the ball. He did get 7 assists. And like I said, dudes are off. He probably would have had 10 assists, but dudes is missing shots. I always say, Brunson, when nobody's scoring, that's when I want to see last year's Brunson. We know the value of Brunson passing the ball. I'm not saying he doesn't have to pass the ball. I'm just saying, when we talking about game 2, if nobody's hitting shots, I want Brunson to get 60. Keyword, no one's hitting shots. Keyword, Brunson 7 assists. So the narrative that Brunson doesn't pass is cap. Brunson passes the ball. He also is just the first option, and he has to get 27 shots up because Josh Hart's only taking 6 shots. OG Anunoby, reluctant, right? the Sunni girl in the building, and he acting like he don't know what's going on. All right. So I just wanted to touch on the Brunson criticism. Oh, he needs to pass the ball. Stop. Because when we win, you guys don't care. I need to see a more offensive-minded Brunson, right? When we need him to be. Now, the way they start games 3 and games 4, where everybody touched the ball, I think in game 3, Brunson was the last one to score. He was the last one to score in game 3. Beautiful basketball. When everybody's hitting their shots. That's the key word. But when they're not hitting their shots, Brunson has to cook. Let him cook. I don't want to hear about people saying, oh, Brunson, oh, he needs to pass, like it's his fault. Yes, we lose as a unit, and I don't just hit one person with the blame, but I do weigh it. I feel like Towns and Brunson, they're the stars, so they get more of the blame. And Coach Tibbs, he's the coach, he gets more of the blame, but we all in it together. If guys are not hitting shots, they got to get their criticism like OG needs to get his criticism. Nobody ever talked about OG not hitting shots. And I love OG Anunoby. Salute to OG Anunoby. But the brother is off. The brother is off. And when he's off, we got to call it out, right? This is game 2. This is game 4. OG Anunoby, 3 of 13. Mikal, 3 of 12. What are we talking about? Why am I passing it? Brunson still got 11 assists somehow. Brunson's incredible. Salute to Brunson. Man, get yourself a mug for the captain, man. This dude, boy, this dude is hella impressive. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the passing. Who am I passing it to? Then your bench ain't doing nothing. Who am I? Yeah. Oh, stop. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna do one last topic, and then I'm gonna go into Flagship. So I'm going to do one more topic, y'all, and then I'm going to jump into the Flagship topic, which is the refs. Did the refs bail out the Knicks? So MSG, right? Now, I've been talking about MSG for a while now, and I want to spend a couple of time on it because salute to the owner, Jim Dolan, the Dolan Foundation, right? Salute to all the Dolans. I'm riding with the Dolans, man. In the fight against the NBA, I understand where Dolan is coming from because, like, you see next year's playoffs, and I'm gonna segue into this now because I'm not gonna have time to get to it, but this is going to be the last year we have MSG in the playoffs. No more MSG in the playoffs. Going forward, we got to listen to Shaq and Ernie. Well, Ernie's cool. I like it. Salute to Ernie. Ernie's my dude. Kenny's all right, but he be trying to act like he ain't from New York sometimes, so I can't rock with Kenny. You know, he's too objective. Stop. Right? Dude, come on, show the Knicks some love, man. You know you was a Knicks fan back in the day. Knock it off. Right? I understand you got a job to do. I know I'm the objective fan, but come on, man. You know you rocking with the Knicks, man. And then Chuck, forget about it. Chuck, very entertaining though, but his takes is just be off base, especially when he talks about the Knicks, right? So we got to listen to these dudes all playoffs. So I got to be prepared to do a lot of play-by-plays because I can't listen to the game on TV. I'm sorry I couldn't do Sunday's game. I forgot I had something to do. But, man, look, I'm going to say it like this. The regional networks, right? So MSG Networks announced Friday they reached a deal with JP Morgan. Initially, they were $800 million in default, right? That's the amount of money they owed to JP Morgan Chase. But they reached an agreement to cut it down to $600 million. And in the midst of that, there's been some other changes that, you know, MSG has to make in their structuring because, one, they want to collaborate with the Yes Network, right? They want to come together and bring the networks together because that's what's happening right now. Right now, no one is paying for cable. Look at me. I remember I had the cable and I was doing a lot of play-by-plays and it was fire and I was ahead of y'all. I had to shut off because the cable picture is trash. You know, I mean, we watching stuff in 4K, man. We all got 4K TV. Salute to you if you got a 4K TV, right? I'm not trying to watch some stuff from like 2010, bro. It's 2025. I'm trying to watch stuff in 4K. You got YouTube TV. You can watch a lot of channels in 4K, right? And it's still cheaper than what cable wants to charge you for the channels that they're offering. So because there's a decline in cable, right? We're seeing that MSG Networks, right? They're struggling. Now, MSG Sports, which is the brand. So there's 3 different brands. You got the MSG, the Sphere. You got the MSG, the network, right? And then you got MSG Sports, which is the actual ownership of the teams in the arena. So MSG Sports and the Sphere is doing well. Fantastic. The network is struggling. So what Dolan and them decided to do, they said that they're going to decrease listen to this, the annual rights fee. So because even though they're under one umbrella and Dolan is he's in charge, he's the CEO of all 3 companies, MSG, the network pays MSG Sports to have the rights to broadcast their games. So the fee that they're paying, right, that MSG Network is paying the MSG Sports, they're going to decrease it by 28% for the Knicks and then 18% for the Rangers. What does that mean? So that means that the network gets to save money because they're trying to cut their expenditures. It's hard in this, listen, in this world where no one cares about cable and no one wants commitments and, you know, we're bouncing from this platform to that platform. Even like the idea that cable now, you don't have no contracts. That's hurting the business because I had my cable. I shut it down. I said, I can't do it. It's trash. The picture is trash. It's trash. And then they give you a streaming box, but you don't need a streaming box if you got YouTube TV. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's why they're trying to come together, sort of like the Diamondback Sports Network. They became Bally. It was like 15 teams. They all came together under one network. So you're starting to see a collaboration of networks because it's a struggling business. So that's the update with MSG. That's what's happening with MSG. Okay. So they reached a deal with JP Morgan, and then now they're going to cut the fee that they're going to pay. And then after that, once all this stuff goes through, they're going to merge with the Yes Network, and I guess it's going to be called Gotham Sports Network, okay? Because we all got the Gotham Sports app. I'm not saying all of us do, but I got the app, so if I'm on the go, that's how I watch the Knicks games, okay? So I just wanted to give that update, and now I'm gonna jump into Flagship. But before I do that, two things. Let me look in the child. Let's see. Oh man. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. I was going off about Brunson. Let's see. I agree, but you have to get the team going. No. HR, I'm great. And you probably said that after I said. You probably said that after I said what I said. No, Brunson has to pass the ball, right? My whole thing was y'all were getting on him like he wasn't passing the ball when he was, and his teammates was not hitting shots. That's all I was saying. HR, I'm the great. Okay. By the way, salute to Just Knicks in the building, channel member. I'm not sure if you in the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, Just Knicks. If not, you need to get up in there, man. It's popping in the Discord server. Okay. And what I'll do to all the people who become members, or to all the members that don't know, I'm gonna put another informational post in the membership section so you guys can see it. The Holy Quran, you can't do that. Pistons have zero. Whoa, size 9. Whoa. How are we struggling with the Pistons? We're up 3-1. Honestly, the series should be over. I'm gonna keep it real. The series should be over. We should have won game 2. With all due respect, this series should have been over. And I'm gonna get to the refs in a second. But this series should have been over, man. Come on, dude. How many of you guys remember the way game 2 went? Right? We had game 2. This game was within our grasp, bro. But because of a lot of different factors, more in particular the glass, we were minus 14 on the glass. Salute to the Discord server. You guys know I talk about rebounds all day. Y'all don't want to hear about rebounds, but I'm sorry. Rebounding is one of the major keys to this series. If the Pistons are going to be plus 14 on the glass, you know what that means? That means they're running and gunning. That means they're getting multiple possessions because they're not shooting well. They're shooting 44%, 22% from 3, right? So now they're getting more opportunities to get buckets more on the inside because they're not hitting their threes. Then you get Cade Cunningham. What he wants to do is take it to the basket. He has 12 rebounds himself. Okay? So, yeah, we could have saw more of the double big lineup, right? That's my one Tibbs critique. We could have seen more of the double big lineup. And because then after the game, Coach Tibbs going to say we need rebounds. Well, why don't you put the best offensive rebounder in the game for another 10 minutes? It is what it is. Let me see what you guys talking about. I'm going to read a couple of more joints and I'm going to keep it moving. Let's see. Would we be doing this to the Lakers? Most likely not. Why not? The Lakers first off, the Lakers don't play no defense. What are you talking about? The Lakers don't play no defense, bro. Did you watch any of the games with the Lakers in Minnesota? I watched the game yesterday. I was very disappointed. Very disappointed. Size 9. How are we struggling against the Pistons? Because you flipped it to the Lakers, but I don't see how we're struggling to a team that we should have been swept them, right? And so if you're saying we struggling to the Pistons, so did OKC struggle to sweep the Memphis Grizzlies? Because the Memphis Grizzlies was up 29 at one point, and I think that was what, game 2, game 3, and then Ja Morant had to get injured for them to come back. Did OKC struggle with Memphis? And then the last game, they won by 2 points without Ja Morant. Like I said, I didn't watch much of those series, but I'm just saying, what do you call struggle? If you win the game, you win the game. It's not a struggle. Coach says that should be great for content creators. I don't watch TV, so I will just out the volume and turn on the volume. Okay, yeah. Facts, Coach. Facts. Yeah, that's what we're going to do next year. They played enough defense to beat us twice. They only beat us once. We should have beat them this game in the Garden. We should have beat them this game in the Garden. Only because Coach Tibbs didn't want to play Mitch more. If he would have played Mitch 30 minutes, Detroit doesn't win this game. Because we needed Mitch's dominance in the paint because Cade Cunningham, 11 to 21 from the field, only 1 3. So Cade Cunningham had 10 buckets in the paint. Or at least in 2-point range. It may not have all been in the paint. But he also was 10 to 12 from the free throw line. That's why you lost game 2. You put Mitch out there, he nullifies this a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to stop it. I'm saying he nullifies it a little bit. We should have won this game. I'm going to keep it real. Because the Pistons offense, you talk about our offense and our struggles, the Pistons offense is trash. The Pistons offense is trash. They have no offense. I say it. Their half-court offense is non-existent. They run the same pick-and-roll plays every time. And all Cade does, he diving on pick-and-rolls every time. So that's why you blitz it, and that's why they struggle like he did in Game 4. Yeah, he had the 1/3 quarter. Outside of that, Cade was non-existent, bro. All you got to do is blitz Cade's pick-and-roll. The same way they blitz in Brunson, that's what you got to do. Blitz Cade pick-and-roll. Blow it up. Put Mitch out there. Mitch is elite. I'm gonna say it. Screw it. Mitch is elite pick and roll defense. At drop coverage. Drop coverage. Not popping, but dropping. That's it. That's all you gotta do. You drop on Durant and you put a body there, bring an extra guy, and let Tim Hardaway and them guys beat you. They hadn't beat you. The only guy who beat you in this series is Schroeder. Right? Well, technically not Schroeder. That was Cade. It was Cade and Schroeder down the stretch. Because Schroeder did hit some big shots down the stretch. But it still was Cade's 33 and 12, right? That's what really propelled the Pistons this game. This is the only game to me where Cade was unstoppable. All right? So, I just want to say that for the record. Now, I'm trying to say, is there anything else I want to share before I get to the flagship? You know what? I'm gonna share this real quickly. Why not? So before I get the flagship, we're gonna talk about the refs, right? And I'm gonna go in on the refs because that narrative is just dumb. It really is. If you believe that the Knicks won because of the refs, then I don't deter. And I shouldn't say dumb. That's kind of like uncharacteristic of me. But I'm just tired of like lackluster, takes that are not well thought. Like, if you believe the refs is the reason why the Knicks are winning the series, then you just don't know nothing about basketball. I'm just keeping it real. But before I get to that, I'm about to go in a second. I do want to share with you guys the channel membership, right? We got 2 packages. We got the Starter Knicks fan and the Hardcore Knicks fan. I'm only going to talk about the Starter Knicks fan because it's a great place to start. So listen, when you join this channel, you get access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, right? The server I've been talking about this whole stream, where we have great conversation. We got Knicks chats. We got every sports chat you could think of, right? And we got people that's into every sport. We got people that's into baseball. I mean, NFL. We talking about it, but our main thing is Knicks. And while the game is on, we going in. And listen, when you get access to this Discord server, this is not a free-for-all, everybody in Discord server, right? The people in this server, they love basketball. Now, we don't always agree, but we got great, knowledgeable people that know about the game, like Knicks will be chance 25-26. He's amazing in there. He was the only one saying, relax. Like, he was like Master Miyagi. Relax. The game is not over, right? The game is not over when JB went down. Salute the Knicks will be chance 25-26. So, you get access to the Discord server. You also get the badges, the cool badges, right? You also get access to members-only live chats. I didn't get a chance to do Parlay Builders, but I did pull out the picks, so we got some members-only shows that we do, right? You also get priority reply to comments, like a lot of you guys who I'm seeing in the chat now. I'm always on the lookout for my members and then my mods, but my members always get priority reply. That's on live shows and that's in the community section, polls. I try to put polls every day or at least every other day. And sometimes you want to comment on it and you want me to see it. So I make sure I get to it. Right. And then I got the Unfiltered Thought series, which I will be bringing back this week. Right. And of course, members always get salutes all the time, every day. Salute to all the members in the building. And of course, you get a discount on the merch that I showed you guys earlier. Okay. So members get extended discount on the merch that I showed you earlier. This is what you get when you join the channel. This is not a membership that you pay $4.99 for and you don't get nothing for it, right? You don't just get a pat on your back and thank you. No, you actually get access to some stuff here. So if you do support the channel, right, and you're a subscriber, consider joining the channel. If you're not subscribed, at least subscribe, right? And see if you like the channel. And then, of course, hit the like button. Everybody smash the like button so we get some more people in the building, all right? So that's the membership. And I'm going to get to word on the street in a second as well. But I'm going to get back into this flagship topic, the reason why we're here. All right. And I'm going to say this. The refs. We're talking about the refs right now. A lot of people looked at that game last night. I seen ESPN. I seen, who else? Everybody from ESPN. Anybody who has a show, I saw a clip. And when it got to the refs. And I'm going to say this. Why are we not acting like this game wasn't a physical game from the start? Let me scroll back up to my hot topics. All right. So, I forgot to get into this too. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get into this in a second. Okay. I just seen something else. Hold on. Where am I at? I'm at the wrong place. Okay, cool. Yeah, bam. So we all see the play. We all seen it in real time, and we watched it in replay. Or replay if you didn't watch the game. We seen that, I thought they was going to show it, but oh yeah, okay, cool. We got the image right here. So we all seen this image right here. Okay. Now, first off, we're not going to act like this game wasn't a super physical game. Right? This whole series has been super physical, and I'm actually going to give a salute to the refs. You know why? Because I feel like all the missed calls on both sides, very consistent. A lot of stuff that they just not calling. Like, you have to use your challenge. And shame on you, JB Biggerstaff, for using your challenge at the wrong time. Whose fault is that? Is that our fault? He used his challenge early in the game. So when the game is 10-8, that is not the time to challenge a call unless you're 100% sure you're going to win. Because you never know when you're going to need that challenge in the future. Not that he could have challenged this. I'm just saying some of the other calls that a lot of people felt could have went the other way. He could have saved it for. Not this, because they didn't call a foul. Now, the game has been very physical. Hell, I'm not tripping off of it, but the play when Brunson got hurt, look at how aggressive Schroeder was on the defensive end. There was a lot of physical plays in this game where they're not calling it. And I like that. I honestly I heard Kendrick Perkins say, anybody who go back to back in the days, 90s or whatever, you guys can appreciate this playoffs. Because it's bringing us back to, look at the scores you're seeing. Hold on. Look at the scores we're seeing in these NBA games. Right? I'm gonna go to some of these scores. Okay? 107-98. That's a 90s like score, right? 94-93, right? 101-99. 104-93. It's all throughout the playoffs. Now, these are just some major blowouts right here. But 95-93. You see what I'm saying? It's reflecting what we grew up on or what we've seen in the past that we like. So why are y'all tripping like the refs has been giving the Knicks all the call? It goes both ways. All right, so look. Let's look at the fouls. So the Knicks had 17 personal fouls this game. The Pistons had 17 fouls, right? Very even this game, right? I'm going to go to game 2 because a lot of people forget about game 2. And I think game 2 is probably the only game that has this disparity. So Pistons had 24 personal fouls. Knicks had 22 fouls, right? A lot of fouls. But Knicks had 19 free throws. A lot of these fouls and free throws, a lot of these fouls you see here, the 24, came in the second half because they had 0 free throws in the first half. Okay? And that's why I knew going into Detroit that, oh, yeah, the refs it's going to be all right. The Knicks have figured out how to get to the line against Detroit, and we have been getting to the line without an issue, right? But look at Detroit. They had 34 free throws, right? 34 free throws. So an argument could be made that, hey, game 2, Detroit had some favoritism from the refs. I don't think so. I don't say that. I'm just pointing out, okay, let's talk about the discrepancies in calls, right? If you want to talk about it. I don't feel like it's a discrepancy because And watching this game, the Knicks were shooting a lot in the first half. They were shying away from contact. They were shooting mad threes. I think we went like 0-10 in the first half in threes. Something crazy like that. So in the first quarter. So what are we saying? Why are we complaining now? Why are we complaining now about discrepancies with calls? And then we're going to go to game 3. Let's look at what the free throw situation was in game 3. So the Knicks, we got our free throws up. See? 29 free throws. Pistons, 27 free throws. What are we talking about? 28 fouls? 22 fouls. Okay, 22 fouls. They got more fouls. But the Pistons, this is what they do. The Pistons foul you to death. Okay? But the free throws are very even. Like, it's not like you don't have one team getting over more here. Like, what are we talking about? But are we also going to forget about the cheat code in this same game, game 3, where Jalen Brunson misses the free throw, and we going to forget about that? What would have happened if Jalen Brunson misses the free throw and, right, they get a timeout they didn't have, now they could set up plays, and then get an inbound, and Cade gets a 3 and hits a miracle 3, now we lose. What happens then? Are we going to say the refs, it was a cheat code because, like, who was it? Who was it? Ah, man, can't remember who it was. Somebody corrected Shaq or corrected whoever it was. Damn, who was it? I don't remember the guy's name. But he said it wasn't, no, Towns. Okay, so Towns. So Towns said at the game 3 post conference, he said, salute to the Detroit Pistons scoring table for, giving them that look. That was smart. And the dude, I can't remember who was corrected. He said the refs actually control the clock, not the time, not the table, the refs. So what are we talking about? If Detroit hits a long range bomb to win the game, what will we say there? All I'm saying is it can't be cool in one instance and bad in another. I'm not going to complain about the refs at all. I like the way they're calling the game because I know that the Knicks have struggled all year in terms of getting to the line. But once I seen they had 19 free throws in the second half of game 2, I said, oh, yeah, we're going to get to the line with no problems. We get into the line. We figured it out. 1, don't settle for threes. Start with Cat in the paint. Let Cat work in the paint. Right? Let Cat get going because he's the one that's going to get probably even more contact than Brunson. You see, he driving on Durant. Durant is, he's reaching and extending every time. So, yeah, I think that the nonsense that the Knicks is nonsense. No, the refs is not saving the Knicks. How could you say that? How could you say that? It doesn't make any sense. We're going to act like game 3 didn't happen and game 2 didn't happen? That's what we're going to do now? Let me see if I had another article on this real. I have a couple of articles I wanted to get into, but right. Oh, here's another thing too, because I just want to bury this narrative about the refs, right? Knicks know they have to stop whining to refs in massive game 3. This article came out. Salute to the Post, Stefan Bondi. Right? This article came out directly after game 2. If we are getting the benefits of the refs' calls, why do we have to stop whining to the refs? Why does Josh Hart have to tell himself, I gotta, make sure I'm not complaining? Look what he said. It definitely takes you off your game. I think controlling it, that just comes from within. Kind of focusing on controlling what you can't control. That's what he said. We can't control what they're calling. We can't control getting our first free throws with 17 seconds on the clock. We can't control those kind of things. We just control how we respond to it. Last game, I responded terribly. I have to make sure I fix that. Cat fixes that, and move on from it. That's what Josh Hart said. If the Knicks has benefited from the refs, why do we have to have a soliloquy from Josh Hart talking about complaining about calls? Tom Thibodeau squad didn't attempt a free throw 17 seconds remaining in the first half. Think about that. Listen, the NBA, look at this. The NBA also determined the refs made an incorrect call on potential Knicks go-ahead play with 76 seconds remaining when Jalen Duran's hack was ignored on Hart. Game 2. I didn't even get into this because I was saving it because I knew I was going to read it in this article. I read a lot of news, bro. And I pay attention to the game. Salute to me, man. But yeah, it's nonsense. We're going to act like game 2 didn't happen. We're going to act like game 3 didn't happen. And then game 4 happens. And now, oh, it's not fair. But where was the outcry in game 3? I know because we won the game, so it is what it is. But if Cade would have caught the ball and shot a heroic 3 and made it, then what? Oh, the refs had to admit they made a mistake in terms of the clock malfunction. Come on, dude. I don't want to hear about the refs gave us anything because we struggled every other damn game besides game 1 with the refs. Okay? Let me see you guys talking about in the chat. Salute to Darlene. I see you in the house. Salute to Vaughn in the building, too. Good people in the chat. Keith Rockets has the 2 minutes report came out yet. Also, they say Josh was fouled by Harris on the rebound. Facts. That's true. That's another good point. Hey, salute to Keith. Hey, yo, Keith. Hey, you watch too much basketball. Keith, stop. You got it. Keith, you have to relax. You cannot be dropping facts in the chat. You're not allowed to do that. You watch just as much basketball as me. It's not fair. It is a cheat code now. Salute to Keith. Great point. I didn't even want to go there. I didn't even want to go there. 0.5 over rebound is way different than 0.5 over free throw and out of bounds. Facts. Yo, Keith, come on. What are they talking about? Oh, and then my man, Big Dog. Oh, why y'all had to cheat the Pistons like that? I didn't even get a chance to go on my... See, guys, listen. I got like 5 people who are not Knicks fans, right? They are not Knicks fans. If the Knicks win, lose, right, no matter how it happens, I'm going to get voice notes. And when we lose or we do something bad, I get more of them. Big Dog going to send me a voice note talking about why we cheat the Pistons like that. But you see what Keith just said? See, a lot of these people don't watch enough Knick basketball like that to really get the full scope of what's actually happening. Because if you didn't watch games 2, 3, and I'm talking about pay attention like Keith, right? Read this article if you missed it. If you're not paying attention, then somebody could make you feel like, damn, are the refs helping us? No. It goes both ways. I like the way the game is being officiated because I knew we could beat them playing this style. Because look, Jalen, Duran, and Cade, even though in this last game they weren't, very aggressive. Very aggressive. And that's usually a recipe for disaster. Let me see. Keith report came in. The ref said it was a foul. Yeah, it was a foul. They admitted that it was a foul on that Hart foul Hardaway. We're not gonna act like they didn't say that. That's not the point. The point that I'm saying is the refs have been letting go a lot of physicality. They've been letting a lot of things go, and on both sides, we could argue about things that the refs didn't do, mistakes that were made. Yes, the refs are making mistakes. So it's 2 different factors: the way it's being called and the mistakes. There was a mistake made in game 3. That could have cost us. There was a mistake in game 4 that cost the Pistons. Even though no guarantee Hardaway makes the free. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that, right? There's no guarantees that the Pistons win still, but they did deserve to go to the free throw line. But what we know is what my man Keith also said is true too, that fouls could have went on the other side too with Harris and Hart. No, size 9. I mean, it is what it is. It wasn't a foul because it wasn't called. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And I'm gonna move forward. I mean, there's a couple of other things I want to touch on. Oh, hold on. You know what? Before I move forward, because I be having all types of stuff on here, and I just be having notes with numbers and stuff. Before I do that, let me see. Game 2. Oh yeah. Okay. This is Coach Tibbs. He said that obviously is a huge discrepancy in free. He's talking about game 2, right? Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau said huge. So I got to take a look at it. I really don't give a crap how they call the game, but it's got to be the same on both sides. Bingo. But I do think that in game 2, part of it was the Knicks, though, taking a lot of threes when they should have been attacking. But that's what Coach Tibbs says. Just wanted to make sure I got everything out. All right, I'm going to move forward, y'all. I'm going to move forward. He says they're letting them play through a lot of contact. Let's face it, the refs have been horrible, but at least it's equal. That's all I'm saying. But you know what? The reason why the refs are horrible, I don't think is because they're letting the calls go, Keith. I think the reason why the refs are horrible is because they make mistakes at key times. I think that's bad, right? Making mistakes 2 games are how you make mistake game 3 and game 4. That to me is like, come on, dude. That's the right. It wasn't a malfunction. The dude said the refs control when the clock goes. The refs control when the clock moves, not the table. So when you see the clock moves, the refs, they have a button, they press. The refs control that. That was a ref error, not the table error. Game 4, the missed foul call. That's what makes them horrible. The fact that they're letting them play, I like that. That's not what makes them horrible. All right. Let me see where I'm at. Nope. Down. All right, so I'm going to move on to the comment of the week. Now, the comment of the week, unfortunately, doesn't come from any of you guys. There was a couple of Pistons comments I could have got into, but I want to talk about this comment here from Mike Francesca. Salute to Mike Francesca, legend in the field, no beef, no nothing like that. But he says something that I really felt like it was a little excessive, right? And this kind of was like hinting towards my little rant that I went on earlier. The stagnant 4 guys. This is him talking about. He says this on the former WFA. Sorry, the former WFAN, right? Great. He criticized Coach Tibbs. This is what he said. The stagnant 4 guys watching 1 guy play basketball is not an offense. And I don't care what your name is, Francesca said on his Bet Rivers podcast. That's what he said, the Bet Rivers podcast, right? And Brunson is not Michael Jordan. I want to touch that comment right there. I want to touch, right? And I'm gonna reiterate some of the things I said earlier. Rule number 1. Sometimes do they stand and watch Brunson? Yes, they do. They definitely, sometimes they do. It's stagnant. The Knicks offense is literally unbeatable when they move the ball. There's no debating with that, right? I mean, we see what happens when this team gets 30 assists or more. I mean, I've been through all the stats. It's really good, right? 27 assists or more. That's their average. When they get to their average and more, they're pretty much unbeatable, right? The problem is when those guys, either like Josh Hart, they're not taking any shots, right? He's looking to pass the ball because he thinks in his mind he's I don't even know a comparison. He's like a Draymond Green, Dennis Rodman, and Magic Johnson all in one, where I'm just going to be looking to pass the ball when he needs to be shooting the ball, right? So this is game 2. Now, game 4 is different. He took the shot. But game 2, Josh Hart not taking any shots. Mikal Bridges is the only one hitting shots. Towns, yes, he should have got more touches, but even with the touches, I don't think Towns did the most with his touches. I felt like he was very passive that game. So your secondary superstar is kind of like just out there like he's a role player, right? From a aggressiveness standpoint. And then OG Anunoby's way off. He's way off. He's thinking about Sunni and all these other things. And then your bench is not giving you nothing. So who are you passing it to? And then when he says, and Brunson is not Michael Jordan. Brunson is not Michael Jordan. I'm going to say, well, shoot. Playoff Brunson he's putting on one hell of a show. I mean, he sure does look like him. Now, of course, he's not Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. I shouldn't even say his name. He's the bald-headed guy out of Chicago. That's besides the point. But when's the last time? Hold on. I just want to put these numbers on the screen, right? Since we talk about Michael Jordan, the great bald-headed guy out of Chicago, right? Who's the only other dude? 32, 30, 37, 34, right? I'm gonna go into last year. Game 7, he fractured his hand. But before that, 31, 44, right? 18, no, one demerit, 26, 29, 43, 41, 40, 47, 39. It sure does sound like Michael Jordan to me. Now, yes, Brunson has to pass the ball. The narrative isn't Brunson don't pass. However, if these dudes are not scoring, because mind you, we talk about Michael Jordan. When's the last time Michael Jordan got 7 assists? Right? Because that's what he had in that game. Okay? That's what Brunson had in that game. So when's the last time you seen Michael Jordan get 7 assists and drop 30-something in the game? All right? So he was passing the ball. The problem, my brother, my great brother from, the legendary great from WFAN, right? Nobody else was scoring. That's just what it is. And we needed Brunson to keep the game, because if Brunson doesn't get to 37, we're cooked. So, yes, I feel you. But I felt like a lot of the things this brother was saying, then he said, look, this offense going to be Brunson bouncing the basketball for 15 seconds, and then if he's doubled team, he'll flip a pass to somebody and hope they hit a long 3, or he's going to find a way to get to the foul line, dive against a guy and get free shots, flop on the ground. That's what he did. Brunson literally did this. He literally dived to the basket and got to the foul line. I mean, it's working. We got Jalen Duran, he has no discipline. No discipline. How many times in one night is Brunson on the ground? I do agree with that part. I don't like to see him on the ground. But at the same time, the whole flopping, what do you think of the other teams think of him flopping? He's on the ground the whole time. First off, it's an art to drawing fouls, and Brunson is one of the best at doing it. But I'm not sure what Mike Francesca says about LeBron James, but I would love to see the clip of him saying that about LeBron James, because LeBron James literally, I saw a clip of him the other day on the floor like this. Look, oh my God, my face. Then he's looking like this. Oh, my face. There's no greater flopper in basketball than LeBron James. And he's 6'9", 260. Okay? There's an art to drawing fouls. But the narrative that Brunson just be bouncing, I disagree with that. Because when you look at game 3, and I really hope that Brunson's not looking at, us talk about him and feeling like, oh my God, I gotta do this or I gotta do that, because we're just, fans and people in media. We don't know the game on that level for Brunson to be like, oh, I hear what you guys are saying. Let me do what you guys are saying. No, do what Coach Tibbs is telling you what to do. Don't do what we're saying. But Brunson does not dribble and just dribble. He was the last one to make a bucket in game 3. He was the last one. He got everybody involved. Just saying, man. Just saying. I'm gonna move off of this. So that was the comment of the week. I'm gonna move on to the smoke of the week. Now, I got a whole bunch of different smokes of the weeks, but this right here is what I just want to follow up before I'm gonna get to the real smoke of the week. But look at this. Ernie Johnson corrects Shaq's surprise praise of Karl-Anthony Towns. How many of you guys saw this? When game 2, right? When they were showing the highlights, TNT, they show the highlights of the game. Shaq said that Towns played like a real big man tonight. I'm happy for Towns. Was that sarcasm? He was dead serious. He wasn't being sarcastic. Ernie Johnson said Cat didn't score in the second half. Oh, wow. Like, what are you doing? I just wanted to add this because this confirms my theory as correct that Shaq don't watch the games, bro. He's not watching the game. How could you say in game 2, at the end of the game, that Towns is playing like a real big man tonight? I'm happy for Towns. and be dead ass serious. Yeah, all right, I'm moving off of that. But yeah, that's a half a smoke of the week right there for Shaq. But I do got to talk about this. Ausar Thompson and Tobias Harris, okay? Ausar, you made the greatest mistake of your young career. You had the audacity to downplay guarding Jalen Brunson, a dude that comes from Mamba mentality. Listen, Ausar. All you're doing is giving this man fuel. You gave JB fuel. JB's like, really? Look, a day after Brunson erupted for 34 points in the Game 1 win, right? Or Thompson's Detroit go-to defender, he was asked what are some of the biggest challenges regarding Brunson. He said none. He said none. There's no challenge in guarding. So there's no challenge in guarding a dude that's averaging 33 on your head top, and every game he has 30 or more, and he's not only just getting 30 or more, he's also giving you 8 assists a game. What is this? Oh, there's no challenge in guarding Brunson. Nah, this is easy work. How? In what world? In what world? Just don't foul him, Thompson said. He's good at drawing fouls. Well, he's good at selling fouls, so you just got to be smarter. Trying to downplay Jalen Brunson. Is this young dude, did he lose his mind? I still got to be aggressive, Thompson said. The first foul, to this day, I still don't think I fouled him at all. This brother is delusional, bro. You don't think you fouled Brunson at all? Huh? The charge, that was a charge. Okay, so you fouled him. But I was in a bad position, already having a foul. I'm coming out aggressive, but I'm going to give the refs a reason, but I'm not going to give the refs a reason to call anything. You do every time. What are you talking about, Ausar? Knock it off. Yeah, he's getting the smoke of the week. This brother, I've never seen a brother who get cooked so badly be this confident. Dude averaging 33 on your head in the postseason. Fouling you out like 1 or 2 games he fouled out for sure, guaranteed. Yeah, he definitely gets the smoke of the week, man. I've never seen nobody get this cooked and be that confident. But you see, like I said, my analogy, I said, he's like a young dude in the park, right? You know, we playing ball. You get a young dude, mad energy, aggressive. And you're going to be like, listen, young fella, I need you to go over there and I need you to just play defense, right? I want you to be really aggressive, right? Because you don't really want to guard the dude, so you have the young boy do it. You send him pretty much like a crash dummy. He's like a crash dummy on defense, right? So you send him out there knowing he's going to get cooked, and you try to help him as best as you can, right? You might get a spin layup once in a while, but that's it. You don't do nothing else. That's what Ausar Thompson is in these postseason. And salute to, from JB. He's giving his guys the confidence to be crash dummies. Salute to JB, man. Got this dude on a crash dummy mission. Out here getting cooked. Just got to be aggressive no matter what. If they got Jalen on me or anybody, Ausar Thompson, what are you averaging in the postseason? That's what I want to know. I want to know what Ausar Thompson is doing in the postseason, y'all. Right? He got to be aggressive when Brunson's guarding him. This brother's averaging 7. People talk about Brunson's defense. This dude is what? How tall is Ausar Thompson? He's 6'7", 215. He got Brunson by at least 5 inches. He's averaging 7.5 points. He's shooting 44% from the field. And the brother's not hitting no threes at all. He's not a threat to shoot threes. This brother has made 0 threes in the postseason, bro. He's shooting a whopping 57% from the line. Get him up out of here. He's packed out. Get him up out of here. Listen, I'm not even going to say that brother's name no more. Get Ausar Thompson the hell up out of here. He's getting cooked. Let me get to Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris tried to allude that Karl-Anthony Towns is soft, right? They was asking him questions, and I think this was after they won as well, right? He says this. All right, so what has he noticed about the personality of this year's Knicks team compared to last year's team? It's a different dynamic for sure, Harris said Thursday morning at the shoot-around ahead of Game 3. That's all I'm going to say. It's part of our game plan with a smirk on his face, right? I saw the actual video footage to this, okay? And so I'm like, you guys really think in the back of your mind that your strategy was to be ultra aggressive with the Knicks, and you thought that the Knicks was just going to fold because you think that somehow last year's Knicks team, right, is not as, this Knicks team is not as strong or as softer than last year's team. Yeah, that's the word that everybody wants to use. This Knicks team this year is softer than last year's team. Okay, and this is why. And when I first seen Josh Hart, I didn't really know he was responding to Tobias Harris, right? Or that question came after, and it's kind of connected to what Tobias Harris said. So this is what Josh Hart said: if you could continue to look back and compare yourself to years prior and the teams prior, you lose perspective of what you have. Hart said, in this team, we don't care about the toughness because we feel like we have the toughness, but we also feel like we have the offensive firepower to go out there and put up 140 points. Facts. I'm riding with you, Josh Hart. So it really doesn't affect us. I think that is idiotic. Hello. Let that register, Knicks fans. I think that is idiotic to compare us to the past because we're New York Knicks of 24-25, and it's either you get behind us or you don't. And you're not, and if you're not, stay on that side when we have success. In fact, I'm riding with Josh Hart. So Tobias Harris, when you made your little attempts to try to punk Towns in this last game, you gave him a little nudge. You thought that when you pushed Karl-Anthony Towns, he was going to go run to the other side because this is a part of your strategy. This is a part of the Pistons strategy, right? And this is one of the topics I wanted to talk about. This is probably the last topic up here, right? No, I don't got it there. I got it. So I guess. Oh yeah, the Pistons one mistake. This is the Pistons one mistake. They thought they could punk a team that were punks, and they're not. They thought that they were soft. This Knicks team is far from soft. We saw it the game when they was pushing Paul Reed and get up out of here. They got the 5 techs, and oh my God, what's going on? This Knicks team is not backing down to nobody. First off, I'm going to take you guys back to the regular season. Do you guys remember those Orlando Magic games? Do you remember the game where they had both Wagner brothers? How physical those games were? We were undersized. Doris Burgo, undersized. No, notice how you don't hear Brunson undersized anymore. Narratives debunked. Anyway, the Magic played us very physical. They had a healthy Suggs when he was going at, Suggs. I like Suggs. Suggs is one of the players that I like in this league. I love the way he plays. He's very aggressive, two-way player, controls the ship. If they would have had Suggs against Boston, forget the other Wagner brother. If you gave the Orlando Magic Suggs, that series would probably be 2-2 right now between the Celtics and the Magic. It'd probably be 2-2. Nonetheless, that Magic game showed me how tough this team was. And then how many of you guys remember the Memphis Grizzlies games? How about the first Memphis Grizzlies game? Very physical with Memphis. Very physical with Memphis. They couldn't handle it. So I never was concerned about the toughness and the physicality and Detroit's going to come in and be aggressive. Never was concerned. But Mr. Tobias Harris, when you try to push Towns and it backfired because he barked back at you and then he's proceeded to cook you, had you on the bench with 5 fouls, lost like you didn't have a clue. You had what? Let me tell you what Tobias had. I'm going to tell you what Tobias had in the first half. Hold on. So Tobias Harris, I'm gonna reverse engineer it. So in the fourth quarter, Tobias Harris had 0 points. In the third quarter, Tobias Harris had 4 points. You basically was a first half warrior. You had 14 points in the first half. Second half came, you was missing in the fourth quarter. What happened, Tobias? You on the bench with 5 fouls. Because you know why? Because you thought you could mess with the bodega cat. That's what you thought. And guess what? Not only did your pushing him backfire on you, the brother proceeded to hit all types of fadeaways, 30 feet step back threes on top of your head tops. The Pistons made a mistake. They thought the Knicks were soft. And that's where they failed, because what they discovered was the Knicks were far from soft. Just like Towns. Oh, Towns is soft. He doesn't want to play center. Ha, ha, ha. Towns doesn't want to play center. He doesn't want to bang with the big guys. He doesn't play on boxes and elbow. I remember when Dusty sent me the voice note. Oh, yeah, all Towns wants to do is just take centers off the dribble. He don't play boxes and elbows. What do you see in this Pistons series? What do they do? Matter of fact, Game 5, Knicks Pistons tomorrow. Watch how they get Towns going in the beginning of the game. Boxes and elbows. So, yeah, they backfired. And, yeah, that's my smoke of the week right there, man. That's my smoke of the week. So, let me get up out of there. And I got to move fast because this is a very long pod. But it's a good pod. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the pod. I appreciate you guys still rocking with me. I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to get to the last two joints. I'm going to do the Knick of the week, right? And of course, some of you guys, especially if you're in the Discord server, you already know, but I'm going to still do the drum rolls. So this week, Knick of the week is none other than, of course, Playoff Brunson. Not Jalen Brunson. His name is no longer Jalen Brunson. His name is Playoff Brunson. Playoff Brunson, 33 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. The brother's on fire. The brother's on fire, okay? I mean, he's crashing the balls. He's playing defense. He's doing everything that we need him to do. Asar Thompson thought he had a post up. What did Brunson do? Swipe that ball away. They say Brunson don't play defense. It's cap. All he's been doing this series is playing defense. Now, yes, the guys he's guarding, are they world beaters? No. Bottom line is he's playing defense. He's got the young Asar Thompson. He took the Dennis Schroeder challenge. Of course, they kind of readjusted that. Now you're starting to see when Deuce is in the game, he'll get shooter. Bridges will get shooter. They kind of mix it up, but Brunson that's still his assignment. And the brother has shown out. Playoff Brunson is in full effect. Boston Celtics, I'm going to tell you guys, man. If those guys are not 100% and they coming in hobbled with injuries, Playoff Brunson is not taking no prisoners. And now we got the Bodega Cat. Now we got a Bodega Cat that's extra confident, knows where he could get his shots. We seen the blueprint in the regular season Game 4 against the Celtics when Towns finally figured out, okay, this is how I could get buckets. It's going to be a problem going into that Boston series. I'm just letting you guys know. I don't give a damn about none of that. Oh, you're 0-4 in the regular season. That has nothing to do with the postseason at all. At all. So we going to see. But I had to give a big time salute to Jalen Brunson. No, Playoff Brunson. Not Jalen Brunson. Playoff Brunson. All right? So he's the nigga of the week. Now, I'm going to do word on the street. I'm going to do a couple of polls and get up out of here. I want to thank all you guys for rocking with me. I see you, Keith. 33, 9, and 5 from a 6'1" point guard. No, Keith, he's 6'2". Ooh, Knicks will be chance 25-26. They'll beat Boston in 6. Ooh, you know what? Knicks will be champs. I'm riding with you. We're going to do a show. Boston, Knicks in 6. We're going to be lethal, Size 9 says. Facts. 2 all season working on his handle, and the SAR going to be a problem. No, Detroit's going to be good. Yo, honestly, Detroit Pistons, they're going to be a problem going forward, but they're not ready right now. Right now, they're not ready, and it's very clear, very evident. All right? So, I'll start here. Did the Knicks lose the Game 2 to the Pistons due to discrepancy in the foul calls or being out-muscled and hustled? I'm going to say the Knicks were out-muscled and hustled, but check this out. 132 votes. And fans were split on this. 50% said out-muscled and hustled. 48% say the refs and the BS calls. I'm saying out-hustled and muscled. I'm not blaming the refs for nothing. I think that, the refs, the game is a physical game, and the Knicks had to figure out how to play physical. And that's why the Knicks are winning, because the Knicks had thrived in the physicality. The Pistons thought they would falter. That was their one mistake they made. Let me go to the next one. So, is the Knicks star Jalen Brunson taking too many shots in the first 2 games of the playoffs? 154 votes. I'm going to say no, he's the first option, but 67% of you guys, I mean, a lot of you guys, what I said might be a shock to your system, but I'm riding with what I said because Brunson has to be the first option. Playoff Brunson is going to do both. He's going to get 30 points and 8 assists. Okay, how about that? I'm going to pass the ball and shoot it. Let's go. Salute the Captain 11, you know what I'm saying? I'm riding with you. Go get your Captain 11 mug right now. Okay? Bam. Perfect plug. And of course, Brunson was the clutch player of the week. We talked about that. I mean, of the year. Did last night's victory for the Knicks secure his job? This was the Game 3 victory, right? I was having fun with that show. I'm going to say, honestly, no. It didn't save his job because, to me, his job was never on the line, right? So 62% of the 157 votes, they agree, no. And 27% said yes, it saved his job. So a lot of you, well, some of you guys were kind of, I guess, you know, not pessimistic, but you guys didn't believe we could beat Detroit, and we beat them. So this is the poll I did today. Did the Pistons take the wrong approach by physically antagonizing the Knicks? Ooh, I'm going to say yes. 93% of Knicks fans agree. They was barking up the wrong tree. And that was the fatal mistake that caused them, because there's nothing really they could have done. I just think the Knicks are just a way better team than them. But I do think the physicality helps Cat and it helps Brunson because, one, it gets them to the line, right? 2, some people need the pushing from Tobias Harris, right? The F Brunson, the you know, the physical defense on Brunson. That gets these guys going, man. And Brunson comes from Mamba mentality. Don't forget it. But listen, guys, salute to everybody in the building, man. Great podcast. Definitely, you know, sorry we went a little overtime, right? Sorry for my tardiness, but my computer was, you know, doing what it did, but we did it. We made it to the end. I want to give a big time salute to the chat. I want to give a big time salute to all the channel members that was in attendance, especially if you're in the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. Salute to Crimes Dad. You know, I don't think Crimes Dad, you was first today, but that's cool. Salute to HR, I'm the Great. Salute to Keith. Knicks will be champs 25-26. Boston, we're going to beat Boston. Knicks in 6. I'm riding with it. And listen, y'all, I got some more shows coming up. But this week, the next show will be the Knicks call-up show. Be on the lookout for the schedule. I'm not going to do a Wednesday night show this week, but we'll be back Friday. In between then, I'll drop some clips and I'll drop some unfiltered thoughts for the channel members. I'm going to try to do at least 2 or 3. And so, yes. HR on the Grim says he was playing with men overseas. Who you talking about? Thompson? Who you talking about was overseas? Oh, Dadier? Dadier will be a top 5 player from this draft? Oh, I would love that. But let me see who else is in the building. Size 9, if I didn't say your name. Coach was in the building. Salute the coach. He was in the house earlier. Salute to Von Allen, who came through late. Salute to JJP NYC. Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. Of course, salute to Darlene Bryant. Great to see you in the house. I ain't see Maxine, but, oh, of course, J. How could I forget J. The brother that came all the way from the Bay to watch the game. That was game 1 of the playoffs. So, but that's all I got for you guys, man. So, listen, y'all, until next time, let's go Knicks.